Greetings. Today we're going to talk about using enamels. And let's just start off by a quick video on some of my tools I've discovered. Okay, so mixing jars, they're in front of you. Here they are. And I really like the mixing jars. These mixing jars, they come with little lids. And what's nice about them is they don't have any edges. Let's take the lid off. They don't have any edges or down here at the bottom for the enamels to get stuck in. And you use a spatula. Here's the one I use. And you smash it up in there. I'm going to give a demo on this, the next video I'm going to give on. Let's talk about some of the other tools I use. Measuring devices. These are stainless steel, so I can torch in them too. And little small mixing. These are like when I have a blue and I want to make it lighter blue. So I want to mix it with white, but I'm just going to use a touch of it. Or a beak of a bird. And I just want to take a yellow or an orange and lighten it. So instead of mixing a big jar of it, I'll mix it in here and even in these little pallets. You can buy like 24 of them for not very much money on Amazon. And as you can see, I've got a whole tray of them. And brushes. I have a variety of brushes. Some of my favorite brushes are these really fine ones from Margaret Clark. And I only use those for real incredible detail. Some of the other stuff I use is a little carving knife. It's not really a knife, but it's a little ball at the end. And it's a ceramic tool. But you can lay that down and then put lines and details in your enamels. And some of the little spatulas that I use. Sorry about that. And especially those wider ones, I like to use like a little palette knife for layering mix. And I'll show you some examples. This is by far my favorite one. It's a nice flat. Got this from Mark Hubbard. It costs like $7. Has 2 ends. And I'll be mixing later when I show you that. Okay, so I covered the measuring cups, the various spatulas, the various mixing palettes, and brushes and toothpicks. The eyedropper. Oh, very handy to have a little eyedropper. So you want to just thin it out a little bit. We have various mixing mediums. I like UGC's mixing medium. And of course, a variety of brushes. Let's move over there and see the brushes. A whole variety of them, not just the Margaret Clark ones I showed you. Okay. Also, a razor blade is handy. And it comes in handy for adding some details or scraping your edge before it dries hard. All right, next one, let's talk about mixing. Okay, let's mix some enamels. I really don't have to measure much. As white, this is white. You just can't have enough white. And I'm almost out. So I'm going to mix my white with my mixing agent. I like Paul Messing's version. He makes a little hole. And pours his mixing agent into that hole. You'll see lots of people have their favorite way. So then I'll take my more pointed edge, start mixing it up. Got quite a bit in here, so let's add the mixing agent. I really like Gil Reynolds' Fusion Easy Fire and High Fire enamels because the powder is so fine. But what I'm learning from Mark Hufford, and not from a lot of experience right now, but from his training, is that the Easy Fire sometimes is a second layer that you put on for colorful details, because he really likes his high fires. And as Greta knows, we've had experience where on initial firing, the yellows and oranges will sort of burn off. All right, so I've got it at a nearer stage. So this is why I like those flat containers. I can just smash the crystals up against the wall. None of it is getting stuck in little rims, and I can see the consistency in the mix. As you can see, I haven't got a lot of bubbles, although I probably have more than you can imagine. So I'm really getting it towards the consistency I want. So I'll take it and just smash it. When I make cornmeal mush, this is what I like to do too. So let's just smash it up against there with that flat spatula. All right. So now, what consistency I want, I'm getting close. And so I'm going to clean the spatula. It's real important that you have a clean spatula for this test. And so it's the drip test. And so you take a bit of it and you turn it on its edge and you count to 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's close. You'll develop your own methodology and consistency test. All right, I'm going to do it again. 1, 2. It's close, and it's a little thin, or it dripped before I got to 3, and that's all right because there's stuff around the edges, and by the time I get to the part where I want to paint with this, I'll be mixing it a little differently anyway. So that's mixing enamels. And mixing is really, really critical. If you get it too thick, it's very difficult to paint, and it'll make little bubbles or it'll make little lumps. And later I'll show you some photos of exactly that. If you get it too thin, it will be runny and much more transparent. And sometimes you want transparency, and so you will make it a little thinner and brush it off. Okay? I like these lids. You can buy different sorts of them. This particular one comes with a little case. So I can put it in the case and then put a lid on it. I still put this into a plastic bag that just help keep them moist. All right, thanks.